Yes, everyone, welcome back to the channel. Hope you are all well. It looks like things are starting to really heat up in the transfer market for Manchester United. It looks like you might be seeing Amrabat sorted out, sorry, not Amrabat, Onana sorted out in the very, very near future. It looks like there could be some movement in terms of Amrabat, hence why we're going to be talking about him at the moment. Are we actually getting our act together before pre-season, or at least before the pre-season tour? It's been a minute since we did that, isn't it? Right then. So what's the news with Amrabat? Well, I'm going to talk to you. Good morning, everybody. Florian Plettenberg is saying that United are monitoring Amrabat very closely at this stage, not advanced, but talks have taken place, and it could become a hot topic later in the window. I think the Amrabat one requires sales. I think that the ones that we're looking at getting in, Mount and Onana, and probably Hojlund, if we're being honest with ourselves, are okay. Yeah, they've been given a green light. And I get a feeling, looking at that wording, someone's been told, yeah, look, they want to do Amrabat, but X, Y, and Z needs to get sold. And that might be like Maguire and Fred or someone else like that. I don't know who, but I think that's the sort of thinking that will be behind all of this. Alex Crook says that United are monitoring Fiorentina midfielder Sofyan Amrabat. Amrabat is on United's radar. Now, not top target at this stage, as they look to tie up Onana and a number 9, but one to keep an eye on if the budget allows, probably dependent on departures. Yeah, pretty much what I just said. I get that feeling that he might be one that comes in a little bit later in the window. Why? Well, I don't think he's your automatic starter. I think he's a guy that comes and fills in, but also is a go-to for when you've got more difficult games that you'd like to get involved in. And then Jacque Talbot is saying that Ten Hag has pinpointed Amrabat as his main target, which contradicts the last report, for United's midfield, and will action and move for him once the deals of Onana and Howland are wrapped up and Fred is moved on. So, all three people, and sort of my own feeling on this, I haven't heard anything, I'm just my own feeling of what's going on around all these, that all seems to stack up. I wonder if it is, yeah, if he is just an upgrade on Fred, so what, he's like the fourth choice midfielder from your three starters, Amrabat's an upgrade in a number of ways, and I like that. I think that's a hell of an upgrade, and I think that's what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to just improve the weaknesses in your team, and you end up with a better team at the end of it. I like it. I like Amrabat, and I like, get Onana over the line, because that's kind of key at the moment. Get the striker over the line, because that's very, very key. And it looks like there could be something in that, and there might be something. Probably going to talk about this a little bit later on, but I think there could be something with Diallo going the other way. Although I don't know if United like that. I think that's something that Atlanta are exploring. But I think there's a deal to be struck to get Hojlund over the line, and I like that. All right, Jadon Sancho. So Jacque Talbot again is saying Ten Hag's current intention is to give Sancho one more season at United to impress, but if a huge offer comes in, then he might leave given the wages. But that is also because of his wages. That is also unlikely. So here's the problem with saying a huge a sort of huge offer coming in. There isn't going to be a huge offer coming in, is there? A huge offer is not going to come in for a player that hasn't warranted a huge offer. I mean, let me know in the comments, you lot here now, right? So, what would you take for Sancho right now? Give me a pound amount. Would you take 50? Who's paying you 50? Right, you got decisions to make. One more season or sell now. So, keep or sell. Keep or sell. One more season, keep or sell right now. Jadon Sancho. Let me know in the comments right there. Abhinav says Amrabat raises the floor. We need him when Little Daddy is suspended. I agree. John says morning. Good morning. Joe Howard says, what's the target for this season, Steve? Mount, Onana, Howland are the signing. So what's the expectation? Top 3. I would say any talk of a title challenge is madness at the moment. Could it happen? Yeah. You've seen teams from further back mount a title challenge and nearly do it. I would say it's to compete on multiple fronts. I expect us to reach the quarterfinals of the Champions League minimum, and I expect us to be closer than we were last season. Now, some people will try and count that in points. Are we closer to Manchester City or the eventual champions in points? But I think the improvement has to be a feeling. Do we get 6 and 7 put past us at Anfield and Etihad this season? If not, yeah, it's probably fucking progress, isn't it, right? So I don't know. I don't think we're in a position to start demanding league titles. I think we are going to be more like more progress. So yeah, I'd like us to get some more finals, and obviously while you're there, you want to win them. But I don't think we can start talking about titles just yet. More progress. Ten Hag's been here a year. It's a bit much to start demanding titles. Let's just see how it goes. Allow him to keep building his team. See how it goes. Because there's no point putting an expectation on now, and then what if you get catastrophic injuries to like 4 or 5 really key players? Your expectations have to change. So you can only really sort of hope for the best and then review it at the end. Did we do what we expected to do in the circumstances we found ourselves in? Yes or no? And that's the move. In terms of the Sancho, keep, 100% keep. Marty says, good morning from sunny Amsterdam. When are you guys coming over here? I don't have any plans to come to Amsterdam at the moment, but I would like to go to Amsterdam. I just don't know when I'm going to fit that in. So, yeah. Tara Wayan says, Amrabat, Body and Rice at the Emirates. We will be there. Phil Taylor says, sell Sancho, but I agree it's probably impossible because of wages. Every single player is still suffering. Ed Woodward, idiocy. Mr. Miracle says, keep to see if I can get a good enough performance, sell at a decent price next season. That's the thing is, like, you could sell, but no one's coming steaming in with 60, 70 million, which is what you really should be getting for him, because he hasn't warranted that in his performances recently. So I think he's still young enough, and you know what he's capable of. I don't think there's any harm in keeping him whatsoever. Jordan says, good evening from the Philippines. Good evening. Brian says, think Ten Hag will want to give him one more year, especially after giving him all that time away to sort his head out. I agree. Josh says, will we have an issue due to lack of English players in the squad? Just thinking about our team. I want to think of Rashford and Shaw as English players. You don't need English players. You need homegrown players. Doesn't matter if they're English. They could be from fucking Timbuktu, as long as they was in the academy. It doesn't matter. So, yeah. IR says Amrabat for a third of Rice price is ridiculous. Yeah, I think anybody who watched the conference final should be of the same opinion, to be honest with you. Peter Knight says, sort of swap deal for PSG and Mbappe once Jassim comes in. I don't want Mbappe at United. Does anyone actually want Mbappe at United? Here's the thing. Do I rate Mbappe as a player? Of course I do. He's excellent. But there's baggage. And I think Ten Hag's building a hard-working team that matches to his beat. And I think if you try and bring in a player that's not going to do that, that wants his own sort of rules, it's going to counter that. And I don't want it. I don't know. Stuart says, morning from sunny Harrogate. It's a stupid Great Yorkshire show this weekend. What a pain in the arse. Unlucky. Greetings from Finland. Nice. JH says, I think we've had enough of big egos. Ed says, love it. Yeah. Mbappe, yes or no? Mbappe, yes. Mbappe, no. What do you reckon? Brizzy says, Amrabat's a beast. He'll help us a lot. Peter says, yes and no. I think he takes us to that next level. I get that, yeah. PK says, can you see Ahmad having any minutes? Yeah, we'll talk about that very soon, actually. I've got a video coming out on him in a minute. Sofyan says, nope, Ten Hag can't handle Mbappe. Would I swap Rashford for Mbappe? No, probably wouldn't, actually. Yinka says, greetings from your favourite Oldham. Quite a lot of nopes. Yes, please, they're from Kadri, but otherwise it's quite a lot of nopes, I would say. Quite a lot of nopes. Someone throw up a poll for us and let's see what everyone's sort of saying here. Because I don't think I would want him. But, you know, there is some people that do, I think. Onana, then, so La Gazzetta dello Sport, which I love having as a source. Onana says it's getting closer and closer to United, and everything will be resolved by Thursday. I've seen Thursday mentioned a couple of times. Details will be sorted out in the next 48 hours. Clubs could start the paperwork tomorrow. Look, Onana will be United's new goalkeeper unless there's something wrong in the medical, by the looks of things. And Corriere dello Sport says Onana is scheduled to start pre-season with Inter Milan on Thursday. That'll be why the Thursday thing. But the deal with Manchester United is expected to be agreed before then. I think it's a matter of time. We're going to get Here We Go very soon on Onana. And then jobs are good, right? Awesome. Danny Gray says more trouble than he's worth. Ramos says we cannot score goals, so how the fuck wouldn't you take Mbappe? Right, well, hang on. Who can't score goals? Because the guy that plays off the left for us scores some fucking goals and isn't a drama. Adarius says we already lose the streak of academy in the starting 11. No. Did we already lose the streak of academy players in the starting 11? No. The starting 11 one was lost in, I think, 2000, 2001, 2002, sometime like that. And it was Sir Alex. But we had one on the bench. And the streak, which goes all the way back to 1938, 34, 38. No, that should be fine. There'll always be an academy player on the bench. I think obviously you've got Kobe Mainoo who's on the periphery at the moment. You've got Rashford. You've got Scott McTominay. You've got Garnacho. Yeah, I think that streak should be sound. But it would be nice to see some more sort of getting dragged into the mixer, I think, wouldn't it? B-Man says, overpriced egos are not what we need. Been there, done that. Need to go back to our roots, playing youth mixed with experience. Yeah, I can roll with that. Chris says, morning, Steve. I think we'll keep Marshall this year and look to sign Osimhen, Kane or Ramos next year. Who would I prefer? I think Osimhen is made for a team like United. I just don't think we're going to get him. I wouldn't mind, and Tom Eaton as well. I wouldn't mind having Harry Kane, to be honest with you. I think Harry Kane could do a madness. Liam says every time stories go quiet normally means it's close. Yeah, it does. Peter Knight says Onana's the most exciting. How much he changes the team is so beneficial. Yeah, I agree. There's a poll up for Amrabat. Yes or no? Let us know what your thoughts are on that. Greetings from Argentina. I'm drinking, mate. Working and listening. Love it. Argentina is one of the places that, actually, if you give me a blank check and said, look, you got a week, you can go anywhere in the world, where do you want to go? I think Argentina is extremely high up on my list. Yeah, I think it's extremely high up on my list. What's not to like? The scenery is absolutely phenomenal. And like Patagonia is like paradise. It's like you told someone about what mountains and lakes and stuff could look like, and then they got like AI to just create the most beautiful version of it. It's a country that loves fucking beer, loves steak, and loves football. I think I might be Argentinian on the sly, as well as Ghanaian. Hostad says, would still go for James Ward-Prowse. Surely 30 million would be decent. I don't know if he even cost you that much, you know. Do I speak Spanish, though? No. Although, when me and Statman Dave went to Bilbao, right, most Brits have been to Spain. I think it's almost like a rite of passage that everyone has to go to Benidorm at some point. You don't actually get your British passport unless you've been. Most areas that the British go to in Spain, they speak fucking perfectly good English, because 99% of the Brits that are going haven't got not a single iota of fucking por favor going on. Whereas Bilbao's like landing in like, fuck me, it's like landing in Sunderland or something. It's like, imagine trying to speak Spanish to someone in Sunderland. You're just going to get stared at. Well, speaking English to someone in Bilbao, you get the same thing. Bilbao is not a touristy city. It doesn't give a fuck about anything other than, I'm Spanish, you want to talk to me, fucking speak Spanish. So I ended up proper impressing myself. Here's the thing, I can learn phrases and I can say things in Spanish that I want. And I did a little bit on the holiday we were just on, actually. So my mum was going like, where the fuck hell do you learn to do that? But I can't understand what comes back. So I know what I want to say. I can say something, but I can't understand what comes back. I just sit there and try to figure out a fucking word I've heard before. So yeah, Bilbao, not a place to go if you want to fucking speak English to anybody. Not a touristy place whatsoever. But I believe, isn't Argentinian Spanish like totally fucking different to like mainland Europe Spanish? John says, like anywhere in France. KOTH Mike says, Northern Spain is very different. The Catalan parts refuse to speak English. Well, yeah, Joe, why? Because it's fucking extremely arrogant of people just fucking waddling over from England and just being like, fucking, oh, por favor, one beer, motherfucker. Like, imagine doing it in England. Like, literally, you imagine walking into a Weatherspoons in England and fucking turning it on in any other language other than, like, English and think you're going to get anywhere. You know. Colin says, Morning, Steve. How are you? I'm all right. Thank you. Nathan Kerr, Steve, pushing for a Rosetta Stone sponsorship. I actually used Duolingo. I got my streak up on Duolingo to something outrageous. And that was all just Spanish. But yeah, I haven't got time. I'd love to fucking be able to speak it and reply in it. That would be good. Tony says, we Brits do have a poor attitude to languages. Do you know why? It's because it gets fucking thrust upon you at school and it's proper fucking wank. Like, think of this, right? If I did something now, if I sat here and said, oh yeah, for the last 5 years I've been learning Spanish, you'd be like, I bet Steve can speak fucking Spanish pretty good, right? Like, but you do French or Spanish at school. I think I did French and German and no fucking French and no German. If I did, but you do it for 5 years, you should be able to fucking understand it after 5 years of doing it, surely. Like, innit? If I said to you at the moment, I've done anything for 5 years, you'd be like, I imagine he knows what he's talking about with that. But do you know what I mean? Marcus says, I hope Ahmad actually gets a chance. The guy is better than Anthony. Well, it's a good bit of pressure, I think. Cynthia says, hey Steve, I'll be in Manchester next month to visit Old Trafford. Any tips? No, just go with the flow. Enjoy it. IR said, hated languages. I was a straight A student, but dropped French at the first opportunity. Trotter says, I'm currently in Spain, feel embarrassed by some of the Brits' behaviour. Yeah. Onana, long ball would suit Anthony, Rashford, and Osman. Yeah, that's the one. The one people are talking about the distribution, and immediately I think a lot of people go and start thinking about the sort of short play and him taking the control and popping little 1 and 2 such passes about. But the one thing that I am genuinely excited for is something that we saw Ederson doing with Sterling or Sane. Early doors of Guardiola at City, which is that long, flat ball into a channel just to the left or right of one of the centre-backs where they come in and get on the end of. I think that's a hell of a ball to get onto, I think. Ed says, I speak basic Spanish and French, but I spoke them a lot better in my teens and 20s. KOTH Mike says, I come from a French family in the UK and still hardly speak any French. Come to Manchester and count the Amazon fans. Sterling it was, yeah. Chris says, thoughts on Bundesliga coming to the Prem? Can't think of many who've done well here. I mean, Howland did all right, I guess. There's a lot that I've done all right, but I think in recent years, yeah, they've just come to the wrong clubs, I think. De Bruyne did all right. Abhinav says, can't be offside from a goal kick. We should exploit that. Yeah, we should. And even if, well, here's the thing. If you've got a goalkeeper that can fucking welly it from goal kicks, you go and have a couple of players going to stand on the edge of the opposition box. The worst thing that happens is they have to send defenders to go mark them. So what happens there is their midfield gets a little bit more isolated, more space gets created, and if you get on the ball, you've got more time and space, which is all you want. Charles says, a suggestion that you go all out for Osman next season. He will fit perfectly in the team. Danny says, do I think Mengi will get a chance, and do I think he's good enough? Mengi's had a little bit of time out of injury. He needs to start playing games is what he needs. He could be. He definitely could be, but he's got to prove it. He did incredibly well going on loan very early at Derby. He now needs to sort of, you know, start proving it a little bit more that he can do it consistently. And yeah, he's certainly got the potential. Chris says, Steve, do I think Ahmed will get a fair chance this year if Sancho and Antri off for? Yeah, he's got to do, surely. Highs and High says, do I think our defence is as strong as City's with Varane and Lissandro? Not as strong as City's because the depth they've got, especially bringing in Vardiol, is ridiculous. But I'd put our starters up against their starters, yeah, for sure. Lipstick says, if we sign a centre mid and a striker in Mount, will that be enough for top 4? Yes. Yeah, if we sign Onana, we've obviously got Mount in the bag, but we bring in Onana and Hojlund and Amrabat. Yes, I'll sit here saying I'll eat my fucking hat if United don't finish top 4, barring some sort of mad catastrophe. Yeah, I would think so. But there you go. I'm going to wrap it up there. Cheers for tuning in. Do you know what's coming out later on? A fucking match preview. A match preview, Steve. Yeah, a fucking match preview. Well, I've got a match preview coming out. It's a fucking game tomorrow. When did that happen? And if you've not seen it, head over to Stretford Paddock FC and go and watch us winning our first trophy. I think you'll enjoy the video. And make sure to go and subscribe over there as well and give the football team a little bit of love. Cheers for tuning in. See you in the next one. Hey, thank you for watching the video. If you are new around these parts, then don't forget to subscribe. My channel is proudly supported by my community on Patreon. If you'd like to get a little bit of extra content, a Discord group, meetups, five-a-side games, weekly podcasts, behind the scenes, and even an occasional bit of transfer news as and when I get it, then for the price of a pint, you can show your appreciation for the content that we make and get some goodies for doing so as well. Check the link in the description or click the button right here. You'll also find all of my socials here too if you want to follow me on any of those platforms. Nice one.